Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Beta Ray Bill, issue number 1 of 5. Now, this probably should say King in Black on it, but it should have that in the corner someplace, right? I'm okay that it doesn't for the most part, because the interior of the comic book does explain that this is during that time. So realistically, it's the best you're going to do. Nowadays, people are going to see this. People who start reading comic books next year, they're not going to know what this means. You know what I'm saying? So, whatever. But that being said, with this being an issue 1, it could actually take people away from reading the comic book if this is one of the first comic books that they're going to read. So, like I said, there are many reasons why I understand. But that being said, you can't just read this comic book starting off. You're not going to understand what's going on. This comic book has to be a part of not just the King in Black, but also Donny Cates' run on Thor from the very first issue, because it all matters. Beta Ray Bill does not have Stormbreaker in this, and the Fin Fang Foom is apparently he's not really a dragon, but anyway, he's an alien species that resembles what we know as being dragons, but whatever. Anyway, and he's got the madness thing. So anyway, let's get talking about who made this comic book. We'll move on from there. Argent Star is the name of this book. Reminds me of the band Argent, which was actually the band The Zombies at one point. Little girl, who's your daddy? Is he rich like me? I'm saying, hold your head up. Okay, let's move on. Daniel Warren Johnson does the writing and the art of this book. Mike Spicer does the colors. VC's Joe Sabino and Daniel Warren Johnson does the letters of this book. The cover artist is Johnson and Spicer. Whole bunch of variant covers for this, and I got opinions on that, but whatever. Walter Simonson and Laura Martin does one of the covers, so that's cool. That's a freaking amazing team, and a very important team in regards to Thor as a whole. So, hey. Anyway, we get a lot about his history in here, history that wasn't ever given before of Beta Ray Bill, of Bill when he was just before he became Beta Ray. It's a beautiful story. It's a sad story. It's a story, just it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? The people who needed to survive, and unfortunately did need to use kids. Fantastic, and I absolutely love it. Go check out 10 Things About Beta Ray Bill explained in a minute on Comic Book University. You'll understand more. Also, I did a really awesome graphic in there that I don't think anybody's ever given me a compliment for that. You're all bastards. You're all bastards. If you saw that and you just thought, oh well, it was probably easy to do. No, it wasn't. Anyway, um, this wow, this is fantastic, dude. At the end of the day, this is absolutely fantastic, and I think that the biggest takeaway of this book is that currently Thor is a real jerk face. Look, Beta Ray Bill, he something happened that I guess I missed or just didn't care about, whatever, in the Thor book, where he winds up becoming Thor again, Beta Ray Thor again, and he can't go down to being regular Bill again. So apparently, this totally awesome equestrine powerhouse, this warhorse of a character, apparently Sif isn't attracted to that version of him, only to the smaller version of him. Well, that's expectedly messed up. Like, that's really messed up, but I guess it is what it is. She's drunk. There's only but so much that you can really do with something like that. But hopefully she feels appropriately like a scumbag, because she really came off as a scumbag in this. Thor comes off as the biggest scumbag ever in comic books in this regard. Like, it's something that current Thor would probably say. You wanted me to defend this world. You wanted me to defend Asgard, this realm, but you took my weapon. You never replaced my weapon. And Thor says, I gave you every weapon in Asgard. Really? Did you give him Mjolnir? Because we've already seen that. See, that's the really messed up thing when you know the backstory of the character. Beta Ray Bill is a better fighter than Thor. When push comes to shove, at the end of the day, the way that he was created by Walter Simonson, Beta Ray Bill is a better fighter than Thor is. And that's without Mjolnir. In fact, even with Mjolnir, Beta Ray Bill is a better combatant. And that's just the way that it is. And he's worthy of Mjolnir. So at the end of the day, hey, you gave him every weapon in Asgard? Cool. But you're lying. You didn't give him Mjolnir. And he would have had no problem handling the things that you handled with Mjolnir. And how did he beat, Thor Force, God Force, Odin Force, Thor? How did he beat Fin Fang Foom? With Mjolnir. He called down the lightning. something that Beta Ray Bill can do also. At the end of the day, this is one of those cases of Thor just not respecting Beta Ray Bill, a guy who every time that he sees Thor, he says, brother, brother, brother. And Thor isn't responding that way in this book. Thor has got his head so far shoved up his hyper godly butt that he's just not getting it, you know? Yeah, I'm not a fan of Thor in this. I'm not a fan of Donny Cates' Thor in this. But Daniel Warren Johnson comes across a story. He's taking Beta Ray Bill as he is, and he's making an incredible story with it. Bill has to leave. Bill has to get in Scuttlebutt, and he just has to go out and find himself, and he has to be who he is. And I love this. I am so in love with this first issue. Guys, I haven't read everything by Daniel Warren Johnson, but I've read Shirtless Bear Hunter, which was a really freaking funny comic book. I've also read Murder Falcon, which is a book that, if you go back and look at my reviews, there were several moments where I cried because the book was so amazing, which is one of the reasons why I'm more than happy to talk about music in this. Murder Falcon is one of the best miniseries of a comic book that anybody has ever written, ever. Specifically, if you're a metalhead or a former metalhead. You know what I'm saying? Forget about it. That is an absolutely amazing book. I didn't read Wonder Woman Dead Earth. Too many comic books at the time. And then COVID happened, and it's like, oh, well, I guess I have time now, but I just didn't go back. But I should read it because it's Daniel Warren Johnson. And this guy just has an amazing way of telling incredible stories. And now he's writing one of my favorite characters, Beta Ray Bill. And first issue, right out the gate, this is amazing. It's not about being a Thor fan in this. It's about being a Beta Ray Bill fan. Like, that's the title of this, right? That's the character that we have to love in this book. So while it may make you angry at Sif for some reason or another in this book, that's acceptable. It may make you mad, and it should make you mad at Thor in this book. That's acceptable. This is a Beta Ray Bill book, and he just has to get out. And mind you, a lot of this is just his perception of things. And Sif was drunk, so whatever. Girl apparently can't hold her mead. Anyway, this was really good. Also, there's a Pip the Troll appearance in this, which was very fun. I'm hoping that Lockjaw shows up at some point, because those two are almost inseparable at this point, you know? This is a really good first issue. And I absolutely cannot wait for the next issues to come out. If you're going to hold off to get this in trade paperback, one, that's on you. Two, nanny boo boo, I get to see this beforehand. But this is totally, just off of the first issue, this is completely worth it. This is Daniel Warren Johnson and Mike Spicer. Welcome back, my friend. Good to see, like I said a couple times before, good to see this man working at Marvel at this point, because he's an amazing colorist and he deserves to work at Marvel. This was a really good story for a first issue. Wow. And I'm looking forward to it. And I don't know if they're going to stick the ending with issue 5, but Daniel Warren Johnson has a history of sticking that final issue and making me go, oh shoot. So I'm excited for this to end, even though I probably don't want this to end, but it is what it is, you know? It's like watching a good wrestling match. You know, you'll say, fight forever, but you don't really want to fight forever. You want to end up wanting more. You don't want to end up with, you know, oh, I'm glad that ended, right? Johnson has a way of doing exactly that with his books. Guys, this was a fantastic first issue, and this is your chance to go out and get it right now. And to have that, like me, I'm okay with it. That suspense of waiting for that next issue to come out. So you can just be like, the next issue's out. Holy crap, I'm clearing my schedule. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm clearing the time to be able to read this comic book. I love that. Looking forward to the next issue, guys. You should also. Like the video, watch an ad. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.